Have you ever wondered what it's like to have ADHD? Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, is a common neurodevelopmental condition that affects nearly 5% of the world's population. Most of us have heard about it, but there are still many misconceptions out there. Some believe it's just a childhood condition, but the reality is it can continue into adulthood. Others think it's simply about being unable to sit still or focus. But ADHD is not just about hyperactivity or inattention. It's a complex disorder that affects the brain's normal functioning. Imagine having a brain that's constantly on the go, making it hard to concentrate, follow instructions, or even fall asleep. It's like trying to listen to a radio station with a lot of static. It's not that the station isn't playing, it's just hard to tune in. ADHD isn't just about being hyperactive, it's much more complex than that. So let's dive deeper. Think of the brain as a car with two passengers. This isn't just any ordinary car, but it's a unique vehicle that represents our mind. The person driving the car symbolizes the active mode network. This is the part of our brain that's responsible for things like decision-making, focusing on tasks, and controlling our actions. It's what we use when we're actively engaged in something, like solving a puzzle or having a conversation. Now imagine there's another passenger in this car, sitting right in the back seat. This passenger is our default mode network. It's the part of our brain that's active when we're not focusing on the outside world. It's the part that daydreams, reflects on the past, and thinks about the future. It's what makes us drift off when we're bored or when our minds are unoccupied. Under normal circumstances, these two passengers, the driver and the backseat passenger, work in harmony. The driver focuses on the road, while the backseat passenger keeps to itself. But sometimes the backseat passenger gets a little too excited, a little too talkative. And in the case of those with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, this backseat passenger is often overly active. This loud, hyperactive backseat passenger distracts the driver, making it difficult for them to focus on the road. It's like trying to drive while someone is constantly shouting directions at you, pointing out interesting things outside the window, or simply talking your ear off. The driver wants to concentrate, wants to stay on course, but the backseat passenger just won't quiet down. And this is why people with ADHD often have trouble falling asleep. Their bodies might be tired, but their brains, their backseat passengers, are still buzzing with activity, causing thoughts to pop up randomly, making it difficult to drift off into peaceful slumber. So you see, it's not about not wanting to focus, it's about having a backseat driver that's a little too chatty. You might be wondering, how does this affect daily life? Well, let's dive into that. When the default mode network is in overdrive, it's like having a noisy passenger in the backseat of your brain, constantly distracting you from the task at hand. This can lead to challenges in many areas of life. Take schoolwork, for instance. Imagine trying to focus on a tricky math problem while a part of your brain is buzzing with thoughts about what you're going to have for dinner, or that funny thing your friend said earlier. In the workplace, it might look like missing important details because you're mentally planning your weekend. And in personal relationships, it can mean struggling to stay present in conversations because your mind is darting around like a hummingbird, flitting from one thought to the next. At night, this overactive network can keep you awake, as constant thoughts make it difficult to wind down. It's like trying to fall asleep with a party going on in your brain. Understanding ADHD is the first step towards empathy and support. As we've journeyed through this discussion, we've explored the fascinating world of ADHD, illustrating it with the analogy of two passengers in a car. We've seen how an overactive default mode network, the boisterous backseat passenger, can disrupt the smooth operation of the active mode network, the driver trying to focus on the road. This constant distraction is a daily reality for those living with ADHD. It's not just about being hyperactive or inattentive. It's about grappling with a mind that's always on the go, even when the body is exhausted and ready for sleep. Understanding this is crucial for fostering empathy and support. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep learning and understanding. Let's strive to see the world through each other's eyes. Join us again for more educational content like this. Together we can drive the conversation on ADHD.